Good morning. Welcome to day 15 of Fear Not. Today we are going to talk about Hebrews 12 and 1. Hebrews 12 and 1. Now the book of Hebrews is just I like Hebrews. I really like Hebrews. I probably say that about all the stuff that we talk about. But we were in Hebrews 10 last week, right? And we talked about how you can't be in faith and fear at the same time. You gotta choose one or the other. Either you're gonna be full of faith or you're gonna be full of fear. You can't walk in both, right? And then the week before that, which was week 2, we talked about how you can't be in love and in fear at the same time. So you gotta choose one or the other. Well, this faith thing is still sticking with me. So we're in week 4, and we're still in the book of Hebrews because the author does such a great job to me kind of explaining what faith is. So last week we were in Hebrews 10. We talked about how the righteous man doesn't shrink back. If you keep reading through Hebrews, you'll get to chapter 11. And chapter 11 is really cool because chapter 11 starts out, now faith is the substance of things hoped for. It's the evidence of things not seen, right? So that's so cool. I love that. And then Hebrews 11, it goes through and it talks about like all the people. It's like a crash course in like the Old Testament. It talks about all the people in the Old Testament and how they lived by faith. It talks about Abraham. It talks about Abel. It talks about Noah. Just like real short, like a sentence about each person, but how these people lived by faith, right? And so then that leads us into chapter 12, where we are today. I would encourage you to read chapter 11, and at some point we may go through it. But chapter 12, this is where we all are today. So remember, they just talked about all of those great people of faith. So chapter 12 says, therefore we also, since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and the sin which so easily ensnares us, and let us run with endurance the race that is set before us. And there's a version of that says, let's run with patience the race that is set before us. And so they talked about the great cloud of witnesses. So we are surrounded by, if we read this Bible and if we're Christians and we believe this word, we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses. We're surrounded by so many people who have ran this race of life, and they've ran it with endurance and with patience. And so how do we do that? How do we keep going in the midst of sorrow, and despair and unforgiveness and all the things that happen to us in life? How do we keep going? Well, it says there's 2 ways to do that. You have to lay aside every weight and lay aside every sin that so easily ensnares you. So we're not going to talk about the sin because that's none of my business what your sin is. But we are going to talk about the weights that so easily ensnare us. And I think that happens a lot, particularly on this time of year. The weights. So we just finished up Thanksgiving. We're going into Christmas, and that weight. Whew. And if you guys have kids, you understand that weight and that pressure that feels like it's on you. The Christmas gifts you have to buy, or you have to bake cookies, or people are coming over. So that's one type of weight that can be on our shoulders. But a lot of us hold a lot of different kind of weights too. We hold unforgiveness, we hold anger, we hold sadness and grief, things that sometimes are our fault, sometimes things that are not our fault. I don't know if you guys remember a song Erykah Badu wrote. It was called Bag Lady. And she said, bag lady, you gon' hurt your back, carrying all them bags like that. I guess nobody ever told you all you must hold on to is you. Okay, so the bags. One day, all those bags gonna get in your way. All those heaviness, all those things that we carry. And I don't know what you carry. I don't know if you're carrying anger or unforgiveness, or I don't know if you're carrying the pressures of this Christmas season of being perfect. I don't know if you're carrying the worry of how you're gonna pay your bills, or the worry of how this sickness is going to end. But what I do know is what this word says. It says that we have to take off those weights, because if we're running a race and we're trying to get to the end, and we have these weights on us. How are we ever going to get to the end of our race? Erykah Badu says, you can't hurry up because you got too much stuff. You're going to miss your bus because you got too much stuff. That's part of the song. So my challenge for you today in this week is whatever the weight or the sin that is on top of you, that's slowing you down, whatever that may be, that you begin to pray about it and you begin to kind of let some of those things go, because the race isn't given, to the fastest one. It's given to the person who endures to the end. And we have to endure to the end. So again, Hebrews 12:1, therefore, we also, since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and every sin which so easily ensnares us, and let us run with endurance the race that is set before us. Run with endurance today. Keep going. Don't stop. You can do it. I love you. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.